Hey everybody, welcome back to Raven's View. Today we're going to go in the Mendenhall Glacier area, and this is in Juneau, Alaska. We're going to go on a little walk down the trail. This is in, let's see, mid-June that we're doing this video, and that makes a difference when you come around and hike in the Mendenhall Glacier area, because different times of the year there are different wildlife, different things about the glacier, about the lake, and the things like that. All around, the rivers change quite a bit throughout the season. And so June, mid-June, is very specific to what this type of stuff has happened. So we're going to take a little walk around what's called the Moraine Ecology Trail. We're going to duck down through a little ways. It's definitely mosquito season right now, so if you're coming up June, you better bring some mosquito stuff because they are everywhere. If you stop for longer than a couple seconds, they are on you. Right now, as we're speaking, I'm just getting this mosquito that's trying to get some good stuff from me right now. They're all over the place. So definitely bring that. We're going to take a stop at the trail that comes through here, or the creek that comes through here, which is called Steep Creek. Let's check it out. So we are coming up on Steep Creek. This is a creek that is a salmon creek, and there are different types of salmon that come through this area. They start to come through this particular creek, and it's different everywhere you go in Alaska, but in this particular creek, they start to show up here into parts of July, and then through July and August, and then even into a little bit of October, and they just kind of rotate. So this creek right now, there are no large salmon in it, but down deep in kind of the cracks and in the small edges here are some small salmon fry. And the salmon fry are small salmon that have been hatched here, and they stay in this creek for about a year or so, depending on the species, and then they make their way down and then out to the ocean and live out there for a few years. This later on, though, will be full of salmon in the season, July, August, and this is where bears will come and frequent quite a bit to chase the salmon up and down this creek. There's platforms that overlook the river here at the Mendenhall Glacier Visitor Center area, and you can go out on these really nice walkways to go out and around, look at the wildlife, look at the views that are around here, and maybe cross your fingers and see if you come across anything while you're out here. This is a very popular place to see bears, porcupine, deer are out here. Let's see what else. A lot of red squirrel. There's mountain goats up in the mountains up there, so if you bring some binoculars, you can look up into the mountains and see some mountain goats for sure. There are, let's see, lots of different birds, lots of migrating birds that come through here, and they come from all over the place, including one of them called the Arctic tern. And the Arctic tern is the farthest migrating bird anywhere in the world. And they travel from the Antarctic to the Arctic every single year to make their trek all the way across here. There's also beavers in this area, and beavers are mostly nocturnal, so if you're looking for beavers around this area, come towards the evenings as it starts to get a little darker, and you can get more chances at seeing those. Let's see, what else is around here? You just never know. So this deckway was put up to keep the tourists and the visitors away from the bears, which be roaming all around through here. And this deckway and walkway goes up and lets you walk up above everything that's going on either side, which is really nice. And we're going to wander down this deckway walkway and see what we can find. Let's go check it out. So as we come up on this walkway, there's this little sign here that says bears, salmon. There's a brown bear sign and a black bear sign. In Juneau, we really just have black bears that really roam around here most of the time. There's every now and again a brown bear that wanders through, but it's really black bear territory. And so this is a bear that you'll see. There are brown colored black bears, and there's different colored black bears, but they're really just black bears really that are in the Juneau area. If you come up here, there's a fork in the road on this pathway, and one of them goes out towards the visitor center, and then one of them goes out towards Steep Creek. There's a little sign here, kind of points you in the right direction. We're going to turn this way and go check out the Steep Creek Trail, just a little bit of it, see what we can find. And you can see just right away, there's another walkway that looks right over the Steep Creek. And in July, August, there'll be lots of salmon just pouring through here and bears walking up and down the creek looking for that food. Let's go check it out. So we just came across this black bear, and it is just sitting down munching on some willow branches here. We'll just keep watching and see what happens.
There. Something's wrong. Something wrong. It's okay. Oh, that's for real.
So we just walked down the Moraine Ecology Trail, and we're coming up on this little kind of hidden beach that's down around the corner. I definitely recommend going to check it out if you get out here. It's just tucked away a little ways down the trail, and it sets you out on the sandy beach with the rocks across the lake, and it's really away from everything else that's going on. There could be hundreds of people down by the Glacier Visitor Center and stuff, and this is usually a pretty quiet place to come check out. That is a waterfall called Nugget Falls, and it's pretty massive. You can see down below the waterfall, all those little dots down there, those little specks are a bunch of people. And you can see based off of those people how big actually that waterfall is. Huge! And when you're standing next to it, it does kind of sound like you're standing next to Niagara Falls, because it's so powerful and there's so much water rushing out of there. It's pretty amazing. This is the Mendenhall Lake, and off in the distance here is the Mendenhall Glacier. Juneau, Alaska. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we're walking on this trail out by the Mendenhall Glacier, and there's an eagle sitting on this branch in this tree over here. Bald eagle. Beauty. And there's the Mendenhall Glacier in the background. Across the lake here, these are canoe trips that you can take across the Mendenhall Lake. In Tlingit, this would be called yacht, and yacht is a boat or a canoe. And these are replica dugout canoes, and a dugout canoe is a canoe that would be carved out of a big log, and then steamed open. And this was the main means of travel in Southeast Alaska for thousands of years along the waterways here around with the Tlinkits and the Haidas that lived in this area. And they do a trip across this lake. Yak. So here we are. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but we'll pop over real quick. Right around June and even in July, there's these beautiful flowers over here. These are called lupin, Nootka lupin. And Nootka lupin are around different parts of the world. This is very prevalent here, and they get huge, 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 huge. They don't need nitrogen from the soil, they get nitrogen from the air, so they're a very rich plant that grows around glacial areas and areas that have low nitrogen in the soil. And then they in turn take the nitrogen from the air and then drop it down into the soil for other plants and trees and other things like that to enjoy the nitrogen that it produces from the air and then adds to the soil. Anyway, this is they call it the pavilion, and it's just kind of a natural spot to people tend to gravitate towards to go see this picturesque spot of the glacier here. We'll just pop in real quick. It isn't part of our really hiking tour, but I just wanted to point this out. Some days it's really rainy in Juneau. Actually, often it's rainy in Juneau, so this is a nice place to duck out of the rain, and we're really lucky today. If you come here, if you look up, there'll be barn swallows up in the rafters. And the barn swallows find these little nooks and crannies, and they put these mud nests up in the corners here. And they have little babies that they go around and bring food to. They're really helpful around here because they help to get the insect population around Juneau. So they fly around and help get rid of some of the things that we're kind of swatting at sometimes around the trail. So they're definitely helpful to have around. So anyway, look up while you're here. That's it. The pavilion, Mendenhall Glacier. All right, we'll go see what else we can find. This is one of the most popular spots, and it's very popular for everybody to take photos because this is the sign that says the Mendenhall Glacier Visitor Center. And they actually had to move it to this spot because it was so popular that people would run into the streets to try to take pictures in front of it. And it was causing a lot of traffic getting backed up and stuff like that. They used to have it over in this little island right here. And people would run across back and forth these roads and stand in the road to try to get a photo of this sign. But now they moved it here, which makes much more sense for the amount of people that come out here and see the glacier. There's a little kiosk here from the Forest Service, and you can ask them and help them about anything you need. They have sightings of bears, they have lost information. There's a set of restrooms over here, and then down around the corner, we're not going to do it today, but it goes up and there's a visitor center. And if you're on a tour, that visitor center is often included in some of the tours, but if not, you have to pay a little fee to get in there if you're just on your own. And it's kind of a museum type setting, not very big, but it has a lot of great information in there, so you can go in and kind of get some more background on the glacier in the area. Okay, we're going to take a real quick look at these Nootka lupins up close. We saw them earlier. Lupin, Nootka lupin. Very pretty. And like I said before, these are plants or flowers that pull nitrogen from the air. They don't necessarily at all need nitrogen from the ground, which a lot of plants and animals, or a lot of plants do. So these are actually ones that help to pull nutrients and add it into the soil for other plants and trees that are coming after it, especially in low nutrient areas, like areas that are the areas around glaciers and things like that that have very little nutrients because just they have sand and rocks. All right, let's see what else we can find. Mr. Sitka spruce tree here. Sitka spruce tree is the state tree of Alaska. It's a very popular tree for instruments as well. Lots of pianos, guitars, and other musical instruments use Sitka spruce tree in the production of their fine craftsmanship. This is just a small one, but as you come around Southeast Alaska, you'll see lots and lots of spruce trees, Sitka spruce trees, all around the coast, up in the mountains, and just about everywhere. Well, we had a really nice adventure today, I think. We went and took a little bit of the trail in, some of the surroundings, some of the beautiful mountains. We saw a black bear, which was really unexpected. I didn't expect to see that necessarily here, but you know, you can never know what's going to happen out here. This bear was not eating salmon today, as we saw, but it was eating some of the plants. And it was actually, one of the things it was munching on right down there was a willow tree or willow bush. And so that's one of the things that was eaten down there. They also come down right over my shoulder here, and they eat a lot of these grasses along the creek. And then later on, like I said, this whole creek right here will be full of salmon. And so you can come back or come during that time to see that salmon. Now, there's a lot of locals that come down here, and just anybody in general, because they know that this is a pretty safe place with all this walkway here. And we can get up and over and see the bears roaming around in this they call it the meadow down here at the Mendenhall Glacier. So I think it was an awesome day. If you're thinking about coming to Juneau, or if you're here, if you've been here before, this probably will look familiar to you or something you might want to check out. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, obviously like it and share it with others that you think might like to check this place out, or maybe you're coming up for a visit, or you're encouraging others to come up for a visit. It's a super awesome place, and you definitely want to come to the Mendenhall Glacier while you're here in Juneau, Alaska. All right, guys, Gunalchéesh. I'm Dave Shakely. I hope you had a good time. We will see you again. Tsuye Yikwasatin. Gunalchéesh. Gunalchéesh.